Well, it's almost 1 minute before noon on a Tuesday, so that must mean it's True North Tuesday. Hey there, it's Laurie Lynnsee. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Today we're going to be talking about reading our body. I just had my gratitude alarm go off. For those of you who are new to me, I have a gratitude alarm. It goes off every 2 hours, starting at 8 a.m. and it goes to 8 p.m. And that gives me a little heads up every 2 hours to stop and ground, maybe do some deep breathing. So today is True North Tuesday. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm going to give people a few minutes to come in. I have an exciting agenda today. That sounds like class. I was a teacher for 30 years. Well, I was a teacher, administrator, and a principal for 30 years. And I've always been a teacher. I've always been that person that people come to ask for advice. I worked in the public school system, as well as I worked with people outside of education. But my life path has always been to be a teacher. And that's what I do. I teach. And due to a life-changing diagnosis when I was 50, though I had the disease way before that, I had a life-changing diagnosis at the age of 50 that told me I can't do the same job as I'm doing. I can't continue to live life the way I'm living it. And it came down to that I needed to leave my full-time profession. And that happened at about 52, 53. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? What am I going to do? And some people experience that. Some people just have an awakening in their 50s or 40s or even older and say, okay, I've spent my life doing this. What's next? What more am I supposed to do? Who am I? And they start questioning what's going on with them. So have you ever noticed that your body knew something was wrong before your mind logically knew it was happening? Maybe you felt a tightening in your chest. Maybe you felt your tummy drop out, but suddenly you feel something and words may not have been spoken yet. And it can happen the opposite way too. You can encounter someone, and if you see me looking off to my side, it's because I have notes. And yeah, I was a teacher all these years, but I still need a script. So maybe the opposite happens. Maybe you encounter a group of people and you just feel calm and your body kind of expands. And there's, something inside of you quietly is saying, yes, this is right. This feels good. So I have a poll question for you. Has your body ever warned you about something before you understood it in your head? And you can either say yes many times, and please respond in the comments, whether you are live with me right now or you are watching this on the replay. So yes, you've experienced that many times where your body has communicated with you, or I'm just starting to notice it. I'm just starting to develop it, or I felt it in the past, but I want to experience more of it. So welcome all. Welcome into True North Tuesday. I'm Laurie Lynnsee, and I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm an author of paranormal novels, and I'm a medium. And I work with women who are trying to find themselves again later in life, and start questioning, what is next for me, and start trusting their inner voice again. And today we're talking about something I believe many people overlook when it comes to their intuition, and it's that listening to your body. Your intuition does not begin in your head. For most of us, it begins right there in the body. And the more we're disconnected, the more it dysregulates our central nervous system. And it's so hard when your central nervous system is deregulated that you can actually hear your inner voice. And that's what's so important, is that we need to be able to trust ourselves again. Life may look uncertain right now for you, but if you can go to your inner voice and speak to your inner self and rely on your inner compass, you're going to find more serenity in your life. So most people think that intuition arrives like a booming voice. This is Hollywood talking. Laurie Lynnsee, do this now. And that's just not the way it happens. That's not the way it happens. Yes, are there people that channel in spirit and actually hear voices? Yes, there's people in the woo-woo world that do that. But most of us are the type that I feel it in my body, or my intuition is telling me this. And today we're going to talk about that feeling inside your body, and how it communicates with you before your mind is there. So most often intuition is a body response. And before it becomes a thought, your body notices safety before it knows how to explain it. So your central nervous system is constantly scanning. It's constantly scanning, and it wants to keep you safe and it wants to keep you grounded. But if it's not getting the right signals, it can't tell your inner compass what to do. So regulating your central nervous system becomes very important in those situations. Your body notices alignment before you can fully prove it. Now, here's a good story. Several years ago, I was just graduated from college, and a friend of mine was dating someone that I knew was in college. I didn't know her well, but I knew him very well. And he went on to marry her. And for years, I kind of said quietly inside of me, there's something going on here. There's something going on here. And everybody else was like, oh, I just love her. She's so great. She's so great. I just love her. And then she left him and said things like, I never really loved him, but I loved his family. Those kind of things. And it was so like shocking to everybody. And I was just like, yep, saw that coming a mile away. I had no proof. In fact, to this day, I have no proof except that she left. So your body does tell you things, and it's so important to listen. Of course, it took probably a decade for that to all spill out. That's why I hear so many people say, I knew it deep down. I just knew it. I didn't know why. I just knew it. I had a gut feeling. You ever said that? I just had a gut feeling about that. Or, gosh, something feels off. I'm not sure. Should I do this? Or just something feels off. Or I should be listening more to myself. Your central nervous system is constantly gathering information beneath your conscious awareness. Of course, my phone is going to ring. And I'm also kind of nervous because I'm waiting for something from UPS and it has to be signed for. And, once again, I've sat home 3 days in a row now. And this is when they're going to come, right? They're not coming, but somebody just called, and that's not a big deal. My focus is on you. So the problem is many of us were taught to override those signals. I know I was. Oh, Laurie, you're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. And we were taught that, this, don't listen to that. Listen to me. Listen to this outside opinion. We were told to push through until we were exhausted. You just keep going. You're a hard worker. Keep working, right? Ignore the discomfort. Like, this does not feel right, but I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through it. Then later, you find out, oh, that was not good. That was not good. We talk ourselves out of how we feel. Okay, it must be, because of this or that. And I just have to go with what my mind is telling me to do. And eventually we just stop trusting ourselves. Are you there? But your body still remembers the inner compass, and it still remembers who you are. And it's trying to reach out to you. It's trying to reach out. So let's do a quick body awareness, and we're going to check in. So I want you to start by taking a slow, deep breath in through the nose and a slow exhale through the mouth. And you might even want to hum it out. And did you know if you hum, that's the frequency that your body is functioning at. That's your frequency. And if you hum throughout your day, you can settle your central nervous system. Just another little trick from Laurie Lynnsee. So breathing in and hum it out. How about you try breathing in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Nice cleansing breaths. And then I want you to ask yourself, what does expansion feel like in your body? Like when something feels good. What does that feel like? You've just encountered somebody for the first time and you get this feeling in your body like this is right. This is a good connection for me. What does that feel like in your body? What does tightening feel like? Like you sense a little, it might not be danger, but not aligned with who you are. What does that feel like? For me, it feels like I feel it in my chest or I feel it in my tummy. What does settling feel like? What does it feel like to feel grounded? Feel that in your body now. And what does it feel like to be calm and clear-minded? So think about those questions. What does it feel like when something feels good? in the body, a situation, a place, a person. What does that feel like? And then what does it feel like when something doesn't align with you? That contraction in your body. Do you feel it in your tummy? Do you feel it in your throat? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it behind your eyes? Everybody feels it in a different spot. What does that feel like when it's misaligned? What feels calm? How do you feel when you're grounded? And when you feel this is where you can return. Tell your body, I want to go back to that grounding feeling. So what does it feel like to be calm and clear versus urgent and pressured? So how does that feel in your body? If something feels urgent, like I got to do it now. I got to make this decision. I've got to move forward. And what does it feel like? I can make this decision calmly and I can be clear-headed about it. How does that feel in your body? Because intuition doesn't arrive with a scream. In fact, fear screams. Urgency screams. It makes your body feel like you have boarded the crazy train, right? That's how I describe it. I don't want to live stepping on and off the crazy train. I want to live in that grounded space in between, or not in between, on the other end. I want to live at this feels right. This feels aligned. This feels like what I should be doing. So the more grounded we are, the better we are at making decisions. And isn't that where you want to be? That's where I want to be. So I'd love to hear from you again in the comments. I have a question for you. And what is one body signal you are learning to stop ignoring? What's one body signal you are learning to stop ignoring? So my next section is, and I want people to write in with questions. You can send me an email at Laurie@laurielynnsee.com, or you can put it right here in the chat. And this is the Ask Laurie Lynnsee section. And I will take these questions and add them to this section of True North Tuesday. So a couple of questions that I often get. These aren't questions that people put in last week. These are questions that I often get. So how do you know the difference between fear and intuition? And I talked a little bit about this already. Fear feels urgent. I got to do it now. There's a pressure. There's a sinking feeling or a contraction in your chest. That's fear. Intuition is calm. It might be super quiet. It might be that you need to breathe into something so you can feel what you really are aligned with. So that's the difference. The universe runs on two patterns, two emotions, and everything about us derives from that. And it's either love or fear. And our goal in our life, part of our life path, and it's everybody's life path, is to move away from fear and move towards love. That's the goal. That's our goal for everybody. Less fear, more love. That's what the universe is asking. And if you ever want a visual representation of that, there's this great movie called Defending Your Life, and Meryl Streep is in it, and Albert Brooks. And in fact, right here on YouTube, just Google it. Google a clip of that movie. And there's this past lives pavilion scene where they watch their past lives. And it's a hoot. I mean, it's a comedy, but it's also a good representation of how we plan our lives, when we go to the afterlife, what is going to happen. And personally, it's my view. That's what I believe is going to happen. So you can definitely watch that movie. Another question that I often get is, what tools do you use in spiritualism? So I use things like, I light candles with intention, and I don't blow them out when I'm done. I use my sniffer, and my sniffer is very well used. As you can see, it's filled with wax. And I hate taking the wax off because it ends on my fingers. And, I also use tarot and oracle. And just, I happen to have this tarot set, which a friend of mine reminded me that I own this tarot set the other day. So I use tarot and I use oracle, and I have a whole set back here. This is messages from her. So if you follow me on my socials, I do a daily love and light, and you'll see some of these tarot decks. So I also use a pendulum and I use divination rods. It depends on, and sometimes I just lay in meditation. I think that's my most common um, tool that I use in my spiritualism is I start every day with meditation. And sometimes it's quiet meditation with just music in the background. And sometimes I go on and I listen to meditations that are on YouTube. And in fact, all of my meditations are on YouTube. Find my channel and they're right there. And they have different themes. That reminds me, I meet with a group of lovely ladies on Monday evening, and we do Meditation Monday, and it's a time to gather, meditate, breathe. Also, we journal a little bit, and then we talk about what's going on in our lives and how we can support each other. So it's really about building a community of women who are questioning what's going on with them, and they want to feel like they are normal, and that everything, what they're going through, other people are going through. So it's a community of women that are really just there to support each other. And I invite you to join that community. And you can join it by going to my website at www.laurielynnsee.com. And I'm inviting you. And your entry point might be Meditation Monday. It might be a class. My signature class is How to Trust Your Intuition, but I have other courses. Your entry point might be some of the resources that I have online. Your entry is wherever you feel comfortable entering. You can follow me on social media. I do a love and light message. I also do spooky stories that are more glitches in the matrix type stories. But there's many ways to enter our community, and I invite you to come and join us, because we're here, and there are women just like you wanting to be a part of a group like this. And they're fabulous. These women are fabulous women, and they would welcome you in. So if you have a question for me for a future episode, the Ask Laurie Lynnsee, certainly put it here in the comments. Again, you can send an email to me. My business email. My community email is laurie@laurielynnsee.com. So until next time, take a breath, listen beneath the noise, and trust your inner compass. And remember, I'm here for you. The community is here for you. And we're ready to welcome you in and support you where you're at. So I hope you're all having a blessed day. I see that somebody has joined us. I'm going to jump over to the comments. It doesn't tell me who's here. I'm using StreamYard for the very first time. And so it's a little bit different than going live directly from YouTube. I'm going through StreamYard. You can probably see the logo is on the page. And eventually I want to stream out to my Facebook feed and maybe even TikTok. I'm not sure. I've heard that StreamYard and TikTok don't play nice with each other. But yeah, eventually I plan to go live on other platforms all at the same time. The magic of this world. So I hope you're all having a blessed day. Love and light to you all. And I can't wait to see you inside of the community. So we'll see you soon. Maybe even next week at True North Tuesday.